Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show for the Raw Ring Report. Coming up here for your Raw Ring Report. What a Raw matchup we're going to have for you coming up. We're going to talk about this. We can show the coverage right here. Yeah. Nikki Bella taking on former Divas champion, taking on Roxanne Perez at the Women's Judgment Day. And Nikki Bella gets the upper hand on Roxanne Perez. Slow it down. All right, lower it down. Sorry, folks. Nikki Bella is in action against Roxanne Perez. Gonna roll it, run it back. Like we always do with the Pro Wrestling Show, gonna run it back. Nikki takes on Roxanne coming up here. And we'll tell you a little history between the two. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, too, the Intercontinental Championship No. 1 Contenders match. Penta battles Rusev for a shot, an opportunity to take on Dom Mysterio at Saturday Night Main Event. Who's going to get the opportunity? We'll find out. Also, too, we'll find out here. CM Punk, Main Event Jey Uso come face-to-face for the World Heavyweight Championship match for Saturday Night Main Event. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started. As I am your host, Keep Your Dick, right here, right now, for the Raw Ring Report, and it starts right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Raw Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Keep Your Dick here. Glad you joined us here on the Raw Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is care. Tell a friend. Call a friend. That subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right, we'll get to the heat check a little bit later on in the show. Let's not waste no time whatsoever. We know last week right here was the face-to-face confrontation between CM Punk and Main Event Jey Uso. As the CM Punk found out that Jey Uso will be facing him for the vacated World Heavyweight Championship. The world title has been vacated due to the injury of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had got that vicious attack from 2 weeks ago at the hands of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They attacked him along with what happened with the general manager scripting Seth off the belt, but Braun Breaker was probably carrying the belt like he was still the world champion. Braun will probably get his moment down the road, but you know how they go. They want to sell that for less, but they want to go with lesser two evils. Well, we saw this Main Event Jey Uso kicked off the show with the World Championship in tow. Main Event Jey Uso looking to get the World Championship back. He won the world title earlier this year in April at WrestleMania, and this will be a full circle for him to be a two-time world champion, Main Event Jey Uso. But behind Jey Uso, who's stepping in his way, is CM Punk. And CM Punk won the World Championship once again in nearly almost 10 years. For WWE, CM Punk wants to be the world champion once again, and Punk wants to hold that big gold belt once again. He held it briefly at SummerSlam over Gunther, so they both got wins over Gunther. But in between, Gunther is the main target and reason for that. But Punk and you can tell Punk and Jey Uso ain't flinching back. These men want to be the world champion. You know that, and you can tell that. And we're going to see that coming up this Saturday at Saturday Night Main Event. Don't forget, too, also, we're going to have, this is the Pro Wrestling Show schedule for Saturday Night's Main Event coming up for Saturday Night Main Event week. Monday, right now, which is the Raw Ring Report. Tomorrow will be the NXT Ring Report. Wednesday will be the AEW Ring Report. Friday will be the SmackDown Ring Report. And Saturday, we'll kick off Saturday, before Saturday Night Main Event. We'll probably start off earlier that morning with the Saturday Night Main Event predicted outcome special, as well as the review immediately following Saturday Night Main Event. So looking forward to seeing you watching these shows coming up for the Pro Wrestling Show. We're going to be jam-packed. It's been a jam-packed show. It's like every Saturday we have a special, but we've been doing it. We've been doing it well. Speaking of Jey Uso ran to his brother. Jimmy confronted his brother about why he did what he did. Jimmy said he didn't appreciate that. What went down, Jimmy thought they was going to look out for each other in that battle royal, and then when it came to the final two, they was going to duke it out. But Jay eliminated Jimmy early on and stuff. If you can recall, if you remember, Jey Uso had a vendetta and just took it out on his brother and eliminated his brother out of the Battle Royal. If you can recall, when Jey Uso did to his brother Jimmy right here, eliminated Jimmy out of the Battle Royal along with LA Knight. Jay was looking out for himself, and Jey Uso did say he looked out for himself, which it is a Battle Royal. You have to look out for yourself. And Jay made amends trying to trying to get in Jimmy's good graces. Jimmy figuring out, okay, Jay, you kind of right now. I don't know if it's going to be a battle between brothers for the world title or what. It's just a complicated story. And I can tell you that right now. This story is getting more complicated than ever before between Jay, Jimmy, and everybody else. And we got to see and put this thing together. But we know for a fact that CM Punk versus Jey Uso for the world championship. Believe that's going to be the first match of the night, the world title. Like you said, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Also, too, there was a number one contenders match to determine who's next in line to meet Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday Night Main Event. A lot of busy moving parts for Saturday Night Main Event. Well, we found out that neither Penta or Russo won the match. That the Americanos came and disrupted the match and cost both men opportunity for the Intercontinental Championship. El Grand Economico and his henchman came out there to cost Penta and Rusev a shot to become number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And Dirty Dominic Mysterio had a lot to do with it. Dirty Dom saying that he didn't. Dirty Dom trying to say that he don't know what went down. But the general manager informed Dirty Dom that Dirty Dom will be defending this Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match. Dirty Dom looking all mad and angry and looking like, man, I put myself in more of a ditch. So it's gonna be Dirty Dom defending the Intercontinental Championship against these two men, Penta and Rusev. Dirty Dom's gonna have a long night coming Saturday Night Main Event coming your way in Salt Lake City. Well, also too was an impromptu match as well. As you see right here that Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella went one on one. Raquel Rodriguez, no, I mean, well, I forgot. Roxanne Perez. I mean, so Roxanne took on Nikki Bella. Roxanne Perez and Nikki Bella go way back. This is a rare photo when Roxanne was a little girl and a fan of Nikki Bella. I guess Nikki was the Divas champion at the time. When Nikki Bella meeting the longest reigning Divas champion in a match. And Roxanne Perez was a good women's champion herself in the NXT brand. Roxanne coming to help aid. Stephanie Victoria coming to help aid Roxanne. Nikki Bella from her match. Nikki Bella saying what was going down. But later on in the show, Stephanie Victoria, the women's champion, and Nikki Bella issue a challenge against the Women's Judgment Day next week. So Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez will be in tag team action next week against Nikki Bella and women's champion Stephanie Victoria. We'll see how this is going to test the waters down the road for them as well. Well, we also forgot to make mention that Bayley issued a challenge on WWE social medias. She wanted to take on her two greatest foes in Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair with Lyra Valkyria as her tag team partner to go for the women's tag team titles, and the women's tag team championships were on the line, as you see right here that we saw as well. And we saw how that went down as well. CM Punk, yeah, CM Punk indeed. We got to him a little bit earlier on in the show. We'll talk about him a little bit later too. Well, we'll talk about that as coming forward. Also, too, the New Day, along with Grayson Waller and Kofi Kingston, teaming up with Grayson. I don't know what's going on. I guess Xavier Woods injured or what. Xavier Woods is injured, so we see how that's going to go down as well. Speaking of that, Paul Heyman and former Braun Breaker itching to get opportunity for the world championship. Braun feels like he should be the world heavyweight champion. At the Braun couple last week hearing that goal, he probably will be world champion and waiting for the right time, the right moment for his crowning achievement to be the world champion. That's a pretty belt. That belt is so pretty. I'm telling you right now, the world championship belt. But we get to that. But Paul Heyman told him to hold on that he has a opponent for him. He'll be taking on LA Knight later on. And Braun did take on LA Knight. Braun made an example of LA Knight as well. Braun Breaker defeated LA Knight. LA Knight just whipping board. You got to it and stuff. So we see how that's gonna go, how that's gonna be coming forward. So Braun breaking Paul Heyman, with Paul Heyman being a conspiring mind, I can tell you that right now. Well, it's this right here. Next week on Raw, the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD Madonna will take on new tag team champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Can AJ Styles and Dragon Lee continue the Cinderella story of receiving the tag team titles, or will the Judgment Day regain their goal next week? We saw a little preview of what went down as the Judgment Day pinned Sheamus. I guess we see they're using shillelaghs and stuff to beat down Sheamus. I think Sheamus didn't see that coming. That Sheamus just getting eating the crowd. So we see how that's going down. Also, too, we talk about this. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Singh ran into the women's tag team champions Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss preparing themselves for their tag team championship defense. And the tag team titles will be online a little bit later on. We told you earlier against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria how that's going to go down and stuff. The tag team champions were preparing themselves for the moment, for the madness and stuff like that later on. Even they were drinking coffee. What is going on? Well, they also tied Asuka her 914-day streak. Asuka, almost been in WWE for nearly 10 years. Wow, that's rare for a woman. Even Charlotte been all of them. I mean, kudos to all of these women. They've been in wrestling for 10 years. That's impressive. That's a remarkable feat. Women in wrestling don't last that long, nearly like at least 5 years, but going on 10 years, wow, that's staying power. That's a lot to say. So congratulations to all the women like Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, Belnos. They're all staying in wrestling. So kudos to them on that situation. But we'll get there a little bit later. Also, too, John Cena will have his final Raw. John Cena, the leader of C Nation, his final Raw be in New York City in Madison Square Garden. Before then, he'll go to Boston, which we thought he was going to have his Boston match. And DC will be his final match for Saturday Night Main Event. So we get that. Well, we get to this right here. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles are on the line. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defend the tag team goal against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. What a match that was. And it was a decent match at the end. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. But unfortunately, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley got attacked from behind by the Kabuki Warriors, who attacked both Lyra, the women's tag team champions, everybody else. I mean, good God, they just did it. And you can tell right, the women's tag team champions retaining their goal and retaining the goal and doing so. And the Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss continue the dominance, being a strong tag team champions as they were. And they did. The Kabuki Warriors went and attacked Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. I don't know why the Kabuki Warriors did what they did, but they did. And made a statement. I think the Kabuki Warriors now want to be women's tag team champions so bad. And I like when Asuka say, Kyrie, I'm gonna get that voiceover. She's good at that. Asuka knows how to get over, and she's been getting over for many years with that sound, with that stance. So I guess that's how it be moving forward. So looking forward to seeing that and looking forward to hearing that down the road. So We see the Kabuki Warriors um leave Raw with the women's knocking out the women's tag team champions and the number one contenders for the women's tag team championship. All right, that ends the Raw ring report. Let's move over to the Heat check, better known as Wrestling Hot Topics. On the Heat check, we saw this right here. What is going on? We want to show you this right here before we leave out the show. These women right here, these we see foot stumps and stuff. Many people are trying to detail what's going on. Is it Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, or what's going on? Is a faction and stuff. And this is a good indication right here. This is the footsteps right here. Who's moving footsteps around? People thinking it's Chris Jericho, Gunther, you name it. And then they said it was something like Pants or something. I'm thinking the fourth one is Brock Lesnar. We don't know what this group is and stuff. Even John Cena trying to chime in on it right here on his social media right here, trying to figure out who's walking and stuff. We don't know yet, but when we find out, we'll let you know who's walking and who's talking and stuff like that. Moving forward, and stuff. But it's kind of intriguing and stuff, but we'll see. Also, too, NXT announced that there will be deadline coming up. Deadline, if you see right here, a lot of faces. We see the NXT champion Ricky Saints, Blake Monroe, Trick Williams, Jelon Evans, and Solo Roca coming to San Antonio, Texas for deadline. Well, deadline is gonna be, I guess, it'll be the final pay per view up WWE in December moving forward. So you see that deadline being that way as well. So we see a lot. We know next week on Raw, the World Tag Team Championships will be decided as AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defend the gold against the Judgment Day former champions Finn Balor and JD Madonna. Can JD and Finn Balor regain the World Tag Team Championships? Well, time will tell over the new champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Also, too, Finn Killer Cross along with Scarlett takes on Matt Riddle showing a new attitude in MLW. I guess MLW could be number three, but I guess TNA is and MLW and TNA all this pay discrepancy and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, they got a lot of stars. Matt Hardy spent time to say thank you. We'll talk about Matt tomorrow on the you know what, on the NXT ring report as well. Well, we're gonna leave you this week. We told you Saturday Night Main Event schedule right here. We're gonna look at it one more time. We'll leave you with the NXT ring report coming up as well. But before we leave off, we're gonna leave with CM Punk and Jey Uso going face to face, knowing that they want a shot at the World Championship this Saturday at Saturday Night Main Event on Peacock. So for me being Kendra Dix, saying so long, we'll see you tomorrow for the NXT Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show.